Early the next morning, Doris woke to the sharp sound of firewood cracking. Her mother was already awake, stirring Christmas food in a large pot, sweat and smoke rising into the cold morning air. Doris stretched on her mat, slipped into a tight bomb short and a fitted crop top, plugged in her earphones, and stepped outside. The early sun caught her skin immediately, smooth, glowing, almost unreal against the roughness of the village compound. She swept slowly, confidently, her body moving with ease. Even while doing ordinary things, she stood out. When she finished, she picked up her empty water pot and headed toward the village stream. The village watched. Women paused in their chores. Some stared openly. Some judged silently. Young wives passed her without greeting, lips pressed tight. "What kind of dressing is this?" their eyes seemed to ask. Doris only smiled faintly, the rhythm of her music guiding her steps. To her, this was normal. This was city life. The villagers just felt backward, strange. At the stream, the atmosphere shifted completely. Men fetching water slowed down. Buckets stayed halfway dipped. Eyes lingered longer than they should. Doris bent slightly, fetched her water, lifted the pot with practiced ease, and balanced it on her head. The sunlight traced her skin, highlighting every movement. She walked with calm confidence, unaware, or pretending not to be aware of the tension she caused. Whispers followed her. "She's too fine. This one has changed." Some men quickly looked away, guilt written on their faces. Others stared openly, swallowing hard, restless, unsettled. This kind of confidence was rare here. This kind of woman was dangerous here. When Doris returned home, her mother's elder sister was already seated in the compound. At first, she smiled widely, happy to see her niece. Then her eyes traveled slowly, too slowly. Her smile faded. "This city you went to," she said sharply, "is it there they forgot shame?" Doris laughed lightly and greeted her respectfully. But the questions came without mercy. "Are you seeing a man? When are you getting married? You're growing older, you know." Doris went quiet. Marriage was not her dream. Independence was. She did not struggle in the city to come back and depend on anyone. If she would marry, it would be to a man who was already stable, someone who added to her life, not someone she would carry. She answered politely, swallowing her real thoughts. That night, while the village slept, Emeka lay awake in his hut. Doris was his childhood crush. The girl he watched grow. The one he never had the courage to speak to. Since her return, he had barely stepped outside. Rumors traveled fast in the village. They said Doris's skin was flawless. They said she carried herself like someone who had tasted a different life. Emeka believed every word. He stared at the darkness, his chest heavy with regret. Beside him, his wife and 2 children slept peacefully. Tears rolled silently down his face. Why did I rush into marriage? Why didn't I wait? Why didn't I tell her 6 years ago? Sleep refused to come. His wife stirred, hearing his quiet sobs. She sat up, surprised to see him awake at such an hour. "What's wrong?" she asked softly. Emeka turned away. "Business," he said. "Just stress." She wrapped her arms around him, pulling him close. Slowly, she drifted back to sleep. But Emeka remained awake. Thinking of Doris. Thinking of the life he never waited for. Thinking of the woman he lost without ever touching. And somewhere else in the village, Doris slept peacefully, unaware that her return had awakened desire, regret, and unrest in a place that was never ready for her glow.